Experts say that Nigeria loses about 600,000 barrels of crude oil per day to oil thieves. Crude oil theft has been part of our history of oil exploration for a very long time. But in recent times, this issue has assumed dangerous dimensions with the damage caused to the national economy and its impact on subnationals in Nigeria. Today on The Eagle, we shall be looking at oil theft and its effect on the Nigerian economy. I am your host, Aisha Mohammed. Welcome to The Eagle.
I am Abdurrashid Bawa. I stand against corruption. I call on every patriotic Nigerian to lend their voices in this crusade. The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. Together we will make Nigeria great.
Executive Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC, Abdurrashid Bawa, has charged civil society organizations to strengthen collaboration with anti-graft agencies, stressing that with their closeness to the grassroots, they are well positioned to assist the Commission with information that will enhance the fight against corruption in Nigeria. Bawa stated this during an engagement between the Commission and civil society organization CSOs held at the corporate headquarters of the Commission in Abuja, stressing that such collaboration was imperative as the fight against corruption was not for the EFCC only. Abbas Abubakar Umar has the details.
The EFCC chairman, Abdurrashid Bawa, has disclosed that funds recovered by the EFCC are being deployed for the completion of some critical infrastructures in the country, including the Lagos-Ibadan and Abuja-Kano Expressway, as well as the construction of the second Niger Bridge. According to him, the EFCC is the first organization to comply with the Proceeds of Crime Recovery and Management Act 2022 that mandates relevant agencies to open confiscated and forfeited properties accounts in naira, dollar, pound sterling and the euro. He stated that the EFCC in one swoop transferred 110 billion naira, 29 million naira, 6.6 million euros and 1.3 million pounds, and President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces President Muhammadu Buhari instructed that all monies be transferred to the Presidential Infrastructural Development Initiative to complete the Lagos-Ibadan Abuja-Kano Expressway as well as the second Niger Bridge. The anti-corruption chief pointed out that the Commission's powers are enhanced with the Money Laundering Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022 and the placement of the Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering (SCOMO) in the EFCC. The Commission's power to monitor and register non-designated financial institutions, businesses and professions (DNFIBPs) makes stealing from public treasury difficult because all the avenues for leakages will be blocked.
Regarding the giant strides that the country has found itself when the President signed it into law, 3 different legislations on the 12th of May 2022. One of them is the Proceeds of Crime Act. Now, we're very proud to say this anywhere, time and time again, that in that Proceeds of Crime Act, it brings for the first time, uniformity in the management of recovered assets, as well as how they should be utilized. And then, of course, above all, is the universality or the nationalistic approach to the non-conviction base for future. Even though at the EFCC, we have always been using Section 17, which has given us that power to do that. But the point I'm citing this law today is because in that law, all stakeholder organizations were asked to open what they call confiscated and properties and forfeited properties account. EFCC was the first organization to open those accounts in Naira, USD, pound sterling, and euro. To do what? To conclude the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, the Abuja-Kano, as well as the second Niger Bridge.
Speaking on the EFCC's 2022 conviction record, Bawa disclosed that the commission secured 3,785 convictions and lost only 41 cases, and that the figure represents a 98.2% success rate in court. In his own remark, Executive Director, Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, Awal Musa Rafsanjani, wondered where Nigeria would have been without the EFCC and CSOs. He commended the Commission's involvement in the just concluded general elections, stressing that without the EFCC's involvement, commercialization of votes would have been too brazen and unmanageable. Secretary to the Commission, George Ekpungu, appreciated CSOs for supporting the EFCC in the fight against corruption and sued for more involvement in the crusade.
If you are doing the work we are doing, corrupt people shouldn't praise you. They shouldn't clap for you. They shouldn't be your friends. So you people should not allow us quiver, because when corrupt people are after us, you go after them. Yes. Because it is when you stand with us, that is when we get the energy to be able to do. That's right.
Also, in a related event in Lagos, Bawa called on CSOs to be constructive in criticizing the activities of anti-graft agencies in the country. He gave the charge in his remarks during the Anti-Corruption Stakeholders Summit, themed Assessing the Fight Against Corruption under President Muhammadu Buhari's administration 2015 to 2023, organized by the Human Environmental Development Agenda Haida Resource Center in Ikeja, Lagos. Bawa, who spoke through the Lagos Zonal Command of the EFCC, Tongwa Michael Wedkas, said that though the Commission was not averse to criticisms must be constructive in nature.
This engagement will provide us the opportunity to discuss and promote better understanding of the fight against economic and financial crimes and corruption, and also correct perceptions and strengthen collaboration between the civil society organizations and the anti-corruption agencies, because I think this is the basic essence of the meeting today, where we can discuss and see where we are coming from in the fight against corruption as a country. Under this administration, how far we have gone. Under this administration, what are the lapses that we have observed. Under this administration, what are the areas that we need to make amends so that we can make progress in the fight against corruption. That is not to say that we will not discuss some of the prevailing issues in the society, but this is the key reason why we are here today.
The EFCC chair, however, expresses satisfaction over the roles being played by the CSOs, describing them as patriots. Chairman, Human Environmental Development Agenda Haida Olarewaju Suraj emphasized the need for CSOs and other stakeholders to ensure that the incoming administration privatizes the anti-graft war. Suraj, who spoke to the participant via Zoom, called on CSOs to ensure that as the present government is winding down, CSOs and other stakeholders should ensure that the fight against corruption is on the front burner of the incoming government, and that the EFCC chairman enjoys the same form of protection as the chairman of the Code of Conduct Bureau (CCB) or Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Fraud-Related Offences Commission (ICPC). Abbas Abubakar Umar reporting for the Eagle.
Managing Director of Galaxy Backbone Limited, Muhammad Bella Abubakar, has called for a working relationship and active collaboration between his agency and the EFCC in the areas of training and cybersecurity. He made the call in Abuja while on a courtesy visit to the EFCC Chairman Abdurrashid Bawa at the corporate headquarters of the Commission. Also, in a related development, the Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRIC, Corps Marshal Dauda Alabiu, has expressed the Corps' readiness to work with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to boost the fight against economic and financial crimes in Nigeria. Amina Kawa will take us through the two reports.
The Managing Director of Galaxy Backbone Limited, Professor Muhammad Abubakar, said His agency was desirous of exploring possibilities of collaboration with the EFCC in the areas of cybersecurity, storage of data, and personnel training. He said his agency gives training, particularly information communication technology, ICT training, which is believed that organizations like the EFCC will want to explore to train their personnel to keep them abreast of the current cybersecurity challenges. He congratulated the EFCC on the successes and achievements recorded since the chairman assumed the leadership of the commission.
It was truly a very wise decision by the government to have the head of the EFCC as the pioneer cadre of the EFCC. The courtesy call for today is just to come and explore possibilities of collaborations with you.
Responding, Bawa said the EFCC could not have recorded their referent successes without leveraging technology in its day-to-day activities, ranging from case file management system, human resources management, to the creation of a corruption reporting application, Eagle Eye app, among others. He called for what he described as the creation of an e-governance structure that will ensure that most ministries, departments, and agencies, MDAs, of the government are integrated electronically.
We're operating in 16 different locations. Here at the headquarters, the EFCC Academy, and then 14 commands. And to God be the glory, all the commands are linked to the headquarters here. Because at the risk of sounding immodest, one of the things that we succeeded in doing in the last 2 years is to develop softwares, that will more or less in the long run make us to operate paperless, from case file management to HR, electronic identification that we have, including asset management, issues of case law management in terms of what lawyers will use and all of that.
The Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Dauda Alibiu, has pledged and offered access to its vehicle registration portal to the Commission. Biu said the FRSC has data of vehicle users and vehicles which he said can be used in national planning and the fight against economic and financial crimes. He stated that over the last year, the portal was used to recover over 53 stolen vehicles, and all the security agencies can harvest information from the portal. Biu urged the executive chairman of the EFCC, Abdurrashid Bawa, to nominate officers to be given requisite access to the portal. The FRSC boss further commended the EFCC chairman on the giant strides he has recorded since assuming the leadership of the commission.
First, we must commend the Economic and Financial Crime Commissions, and particularly the chairman, for the good work you are doing. We monitor your activities on the media, and we have seen the giant strides you have taken within the short time you took over as the chairman of the commission. We can only say that you are doing very well, and we hope and pray that we'll see more from your side in the strive to sanitize the country of economic and financial crimes.
Responding, the executive chairman EFCC, Abdurrashid Bawa, expressed delight over the offers of access to the FRSC vehicle registration portal, stating that the gesture will cut the waiting time for responses of letters of investigation and fast-track the investigation of money laundering cases. He equally commended the Corps Marshal for his offer to train drivers in the Commission's transport pool. According to him, the Commission takes safety seriously and will leverage on the offer to improve the capacity of the drivers. While expressing worry at the ease with which stolen vehicles are registered in Nigeria, the EFCC boss called on the FRSC and all the stakeholders in the vehicle registration system to tighten regulations and processes to check the trend, adding that the best strategy to stop money laundering through vehicles acquisition is at the point of registration.
Thank you very much for accepting and agreeing that we should provide names that will give us access to your vehicle identification portal. We actually need that. You can't completely, conclude a full-fledged money laundering investigation without verifying somebody's, assets. And at times, of course, it will take a very long time for us to write a letter and then, of course, to receive, responses on that. In doing that, of course, not that one cannot do that, or if we are looking at going to court, we have to come back, to you in that regard. Yes. So having that access will not completely eliminate that. But there are several instances whereby if we have access and we're able to just monitor on our own, it will cut off, the length of time that we are asking for information and then the response. And also, it will cut off, fifth columnists that we have in our midst. That will now tell you, it may not make meaning to you if it is the only name that is being sent or the number. But by the time you generate that and you are sending to us, somebody will now say, oh, this card belongs to this governor. You will want to use it and try to extort money.
He congratulated Biu on his confirmation as the substantive core-marshal of the FRSC. Amina Kawa, reporting for The Eagle.
Our conviction update today is by Golden Onwura. Stay tuned.
The arm of the law is no respecter of persons. The punishment for economic and financial crimes does not discriminate race or nationality. The EFCC is unrelenting to ensure that perpetrators are brought to book by carrying out thorough investigation and presenting watertight evidence in court, as will be seen in the story that we'll have for you today. First, let's look at conviction report for the week of March 27th to 31st, 2023. In the week, the EFCC secured a total of 120 convictions. The Lagos Command topped the list with 91 convictions. The Ibadan Command had 6 convictions, while the Port Harcourt Command and the headquarters had 5 convictions each. The Kano Command had 4, while Enugu and Benin got 3 each. Abuja, Gombe and Sokoto Commands got 1 conviction each, bringing the total convictions for the week under review to 120. Meanwhile, the Sokoto Division of the Court of Appeal has convicted and sentenced 2 Chinese nationals, Meng Wei-kun and Zhu Kuai, to 6 years imprisonment on 2 of a 3-count charge bordering on conspiracy, money laundering, and attempted bribery to the tune of 50 million naira brought against them by the EFCC. In a judgment delivered by Justice Abubakar Mahmood Tauba on the appeal of the EFCC against the judgment of a Federal High Court, Sokoto, the appellant court found the respondents guilty of counts 1 and 2 and sentenced both to 3 years imprisonment on each of the counts, with an option of 10 million naira fine on each count. Justice Tauba held that the EFCC had proved beyond reasonable doubt on counts 1 and 2 of the charges before the Federal High Court, but agreed with the lower court on count 3 and accordingly struck it out on the grounds that a similar charge was pending before the Sokoto High Court. Justice, they say, may be delayed but never denied. Therefore, the Commission urges you to report any case of economic and financial crimes and be rest assured that justice will be served. That will be all on conviction reports this week. I am Golden Onwura. Back to you, Aisha.
Oil theft and pipeline vandalism have long plagued Nigeria's upstream oil and gas industry, driving majors out of the country and often resulting in force majeure at the key crude oil export terminals. On our interview segment, the topic of discussion today is oil theft and its effect on the Nigerian economy. Over to you, Ojutuktan.
Hello and thank you for joining us on this segment of the program. My name is Ojo Chukutami Eche and I'm here today with Assistant Commander of the EFCC 2, Konko. She is the 2YC Extractive Industry Fraud Section EIFS EFCC Headquarters Abuja. Konko, thank you so much for coming on the program today.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're talking oil theft and its effects on the Nigerian economy, and a lot of people may be wondering what exactly constitutes oil theft. So I would like you to tell us what exactly, constitutes oil theft.
Theft can be seen as taking a property, an act of taking a property without permission or permit. and this property has to be capable of being stolen. So in a nutshell, all theft can be seen as the act of moving oil from a particular location to another location without permission, without consent, and without a valid license.
Okay, you have been with the EFCC for some time now, with the EIFS precisely, and I believe you have you have cases before you concerning oil theft. Now, from your investigation so far, who would you say are more involved in this crime?
We have people involved in oil theft chain, majorly the host community. They're involved in oil theft chain. We also have foreigners. We have the militant group. We have, it's alleged that government officials are also involved. You know that pipes cross through these host communities, and they do what we call hot tapping. They break into the pipes to get this oil. So it's easier for them because somehow they have specialized in this, and they take the oil away.
Okay, ACMM Conco, let's look at the effects that oil theft has on the Nigerian economy, and especially the people who, perpetrate this crime. What would you say they are from your research and, of course, investigation so far?
The effect of oil theft on the nation is great revenue loss. The country loses a lot of revenue. Nigeria is majorly dependent on the sales of crude oil. So when this is taken away without account or recourse to the nation's fiscal, without recourse to the economy, it affects the country. There will be no amenities, there will be no hospitals, and the government may be forced to increase taxes just to augment. So there's a great effect in the loss of revenue. The effect can also be seen in foreigners not being comfortable coming to Nigeria to invest. So foreign investors are not sure if they are going to have value for their money, because they are going to put in a lot of money to invest in this sector. And at the end of the day, they may not have enough oil to also put in the market and recoup their money. So they're afraid of coming in because of oil theft. There's also an effect which has to do with the environment. Because this hot tapping, like I mentioned earlier, it's done maybe in a haste, or they don't really have the technical know-how, so there may be spillage.
Okay, what about threats or risk to life and property? Because I know that a lot of people have lost their lives. What do you have to say to that as an effect of oil theft?
Yes, there will also be loss of properties, fire outbreaks. When there's spillage, fire outbreak is easy.
In what ways does the Commission fight this problem?
The Commission is fighting oil theft through the creation of a section called the Extractive Industry Fraud Section. It's a specialized section. It also has well-trained officers who investigate cases of oil theft or cases that has to do with the extractive industry sector. The Commission also fights oil theft by collaborating with other government agencies like the Nigerian Navy. The Commission also collaborates with Nigeria Security Civil Defense Corps. The Commission also collaborates with regulatory bodies like the NNPC and NURPC. They don't stop at that. They further sensitize the public on the effects of oil theft.
Okay, what is the place of prosecution and let's say the courts, the judiciary in the whole of this, when you talk about the Commission fighting oil theft?
The judiciary comes into play when we finish investigating cases related to all theft.
When someone or if someone is convicted in court, what are the penalties according to the laws that the EFCC uses in courts?
There are several penalties. We use the penal code. We use the penal code, which talks about theft. We also use the criminal code, which talks about stealing. We also use the miscellaneous offences act. It talks about stealing, especially to petroleum products.
What are the penalties of oil theft according to the penal code?
The penalties of all thefts, you have some years imprisonment. And for the criminal code, you also have some years imprisonment. But for the miscellaneous offences act, it is life imprisonment. And again, in the miscellaneous offences act, your vehicle, your vessel, or the means of conveyance of this product will be forfeited.
I want you to give us your final word on this segment as we round off.
My final word is that if you are involved in economic or financial crimes, you should desist from it, because the EFCC will get you anywhere at any time.
EFCC will get you anywhere, anytime. So all you need to do is desist from every form of economic and financial crime, oil theft inclusive. And that's it on the segment of the program. We'll be speaking with Assistant Commander of the EFCC 2 Conco. She is a 2IC Extractive Industry Fraud Section of the EFCC headquarters, Abuja. My name is Ojo Chokutami Eche. It's back to the studio.
Thank you, Ojo Chokutami, and our guest, ACE2 Conco. Let's do the right thing, always. And that's how we draw the curtains on today's episode of The Eagle. To reach us, send an email to info@efcc.gov.ng and speak to our officers on 0809 22644 and follow us on all our social media platforms at official EFCC for all matters relating to economic and financial crimes. Use the EFCC mobile app, the Eagle Eye, to report any fraud you see happening around you. You download the app, you follow the steps and report fraud on the go. You can also take pictures of corrupt practices and upload them. I am Aisha Muhammad, leaving you with this parting words that says, let us win over the corrupted violence. Let us break our silence. Let us shame the name which destroys our country's name. Corruption is not an individual's problem, it is the nation's problem. Silence breeds corruption. No action only leads to deprivation. Let us all be anti-corruption vanguards. Let's be the change. Let the change rather begin with you and I. Goodbye. God bless Nigeria. Please do stay safe, be kind to yourself and to others around you, and do enjoy the rest of the week.